Hi everyone, hope you are doing great and welcome to another episode of Clinical Research Simplified. Today we are going to do a deep dive and understand the importance, the definition, and the functions of the IRB and IEC. We are going to understand why IRB and IEC are important, what's their difference, what's their functions, and why they exist, what regulatory frameworks they provide, and how they are functioning. Today, going to deep dive and understand the ethical oversight which IRB, that is Institutional Review Boards, and IEC, that is Independent Ethics Committee, provide. These two bodies play a critical role in safeguarding the rights and welfare of participants, subjects, or patients in the clinical trials. These entities are responsible for numerous processes ranging from reviewing the research protocols to ensuring that clinical standards are upheld and the risk to the clinical trial participants are minimized. The key components, the key importance of these two bodies are as shown on this slide. They ensure the ethical standards, they ensure the guidelines are adhered to, and ensure that the fairness and integrity of clinical research are continued throughout the clinical trial project. They ensure that legal framework that govern and protect the research process are being complied to. They are also crucial for ensuring the trust and confidence between the researchers and participants. They ensure that everyone involved in clinical trial, all the stakeholders are on the same page and they have the awareness and knowledge of clinical trials. Together, they share the responsibility to ensure the ethical standards are maintained throughout the trial. Let's discuss IRB first. The IRBs are institutional review boards. They are committee established within the institution. Remember, they are established within the institution such as university or hospital to review and approve research of human subject clinical research. Their primary purpose is to ensure that the research complies with all the ethical standards and federal regulations. They are primarily ensuring the safety of the standards. And if we move ahead and see the importance of IEC, that is Independent Ethics Committee. On the other hand, Independent Ethics Committee operate independently. Remember, IRCs are affiliated with the institutions, whereas IEC are operating independently of the institutions which conduct the research. They are often utilized in the multi-center trials or the studies without a direct affiliation, providing the unbiased protocol review to ensure the ethical compliance. Now, the next question you might be having is the composition or the committee members composition of IRB and IEC. And as per ICH GCP E6 R3, IRB or IEC should consist of a reasonable members who collectively have the qualification and experience to review and evaluate the science, medical aspects, and ethical proposed trial. It is recommended that IRB or IEC should have at least 5 members, at least one whose primary area of interest is not in the medical sciences at least one member who's independent of institution or investigation site. Only those IRB or IEC members who are independent of the investigator and the sponsor of the trial should vote or provide an opinion during the IEC or IRB meeting. A list of IRB or IEC members and their qualification must be maintained, and IRB and IEC should perform its function according to documented standard operating procedures. They maintain the record of minutes of meetings and also must comply to ICH GCP. IRB or IEC may invite the non members with the expertise in spatial areas for any instance. Now, as we have seen the composition, the overall oversight what IRB and IEC provide is of potential risk, informed consent, study design, and overall ethical review. I'm sure you must be aware about all these terms, but if you want me to make an in-depth video of any of the topic, you can always comment. As you know, I read each comment, and this video even is being made because of the request which we received recently that there should be a video on IRB and IEC. I just want to touch base upon the informed consent process because it is crucial to maintain the ethics of the clinical research. Informed consent process has mainly three aspects covered. Informed consent, as the name suggests, every participant, subject, or patient who enrolls into clinical trial are being explained of the study overview so that they can learn the purpose of the study. They must be told the risk in a very transparent manner, what kind of risk they might have due to their involvement into clinical trial, and they should be taught everything they ask doubts for and their rights in the clinical trial, what rights they have and what rights they should exercise in cases where the situations go beyond the normal circumstances. In an overview, this slide explains how IRB and IEC ensure the ethical oversight, starting with the very first step of inception of clinical trial, that is, clinical research protocol review. They start monitoring the ethics from this point onwards. The second point, whenever during the conduct of a trial, if there is any update or amendment into protocol or any essential document, they must go through their re-review. They assess the compliance whether they are adhering to the protocol, regulatory body requirements, and industry standards. Throughout the conduct of the trial, they assess the ethical standards and they identify if there is any non compliance in the trial practice. If there is any non compliance found during their review, they might suspend or terminate the entire study, or they may put the study on hold to give a sufficient time to justify, to provide the documents and rationale about what has happened and how in future it would be avoided. So this slide shows the overall functioning of ethical oversight by IRB and IEC. Now, what governs IRB or IEC? They generally operate on Belmont report, foundational document outlining the ethical principles, federal regulations, which provides the framework for IRB operations in the US, and international guidelines, which provide the ethical standards for global clinical research. In a nutshell, if someone asks you the difference between IRB or IEC or how they are important, they are the bodies that ensure the ethical conduct of the clinical trials. Why they are important? They are at most important to ensure the rights and welfare of the study participants while facilitating the medical advancement through clinical research. And who needs to understand the roles of IRB and IEC? If you are associated with a CRO, a sponsor, or a site, if you are part of any clinical research process, you must know the importance of IRB, IEC, how they operate, what are the members' requirement, and why they are so much important in clinical trials. I hope this video might be helpful for you to understand the role of ethical oversight by IEC and IRB. Comment your feedback, and if you are new to this channel, subscribe to the channel as we are going to release great videos, in-depth masterclasses soon. If you have subscribed, then you won't miss the notification of the newest release from our channel. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep sharing the knowledge and comment if you want me to make any other video. This is your clinical research mentor, Chintan NP Sheth. Again, we'll see you in the next episode of Clinical Research Simplified series with the new topic, simplified every video, one topic at a time.